anyway, thanks ever so much for obviously joining me today. Really keen to get speaking and learn a little bit more about you. The way I wanted to start, and obviously the big thing about Discovery and our massive ethos is about speaking with and giving a platform to rappers who essentially are incredibly talented, yet for one reason or another not quite at the platform where they should be, or not quite at the height of their careers that they should be. And I think you very much fit into that category. Although you've got releases on SBTV with hundreds of thousands of views, you definitely could be at a higher echelon. So I wanted to hear from your perspective initially, and for people that don't know you, who is Jah Digga?
Well, thank you first of all for Discovery for having me on the platform. It's a pleasure, to Jah Digga. Yeah, my name's Jah Digga. I'm from Nottingham, the Midlands. I'm a music artist who likes to experiment. I like it's a bit like social commentary. I like to talk about real life topics and about real life people. You know what I'm saying? I've got a kind of a gift of storytelling. Like I can paint pictures with words, with and kind of like paint vivid pictures. You know what I'm saying? I started rapping. I've been making music. I'm from a household of 5. My mum's got 5 boys. I'm the youngest.
Wow. Okay.
All of them are I've been into music since I can remember. You know what I mean? Growing up listening to old Mobb Deep tapes, Nas tapes. You know what I'm saying? So my mum's heavy into music. Listens to her lovers rock, reggae. You know what I mean? Reggae music, Bob Marley, Barry Salmon, Dennis Brown. All that, you know what I mean? So music's always been in the household. But my first encounter with music was probably years back with like my brother. Well, my brothers, like I said, used to have like the Nas Illmatic, Stillmatic album. And I used to, when they used to go out, I used to go in their room and play the tunes because I was the youngest in it. So it was one of them. And I used to always get like, I can remember specifically getting like a Nas Illmatic album and reciting all his lyrics, writing them on envelopes and just writing all his lyrics down, like pressing play, rewinding it and just getting his lyrics and then rapping them back, you know what I mean? And that was like my first encounter with like music where I could say, I enjoyed music. I enjoyed like writing. I enjoyed like performing, you know what I'm saying? And then from then it was like, I started writing my own stuff, you know what I'm saying? Writing my own stuff back then.
What age were you when you started writing?
I was about 13, 12, 13, to 12, 13. You know what I mean? 12, 13. And I started writing my own stuff, showing my mates. My mates are like, yo, you're kind of good, Then it spirals, don't it? It's a snowball effect. Like they start telling their mates. Then I met up with a guy called Blender. I still mess with him today. He was an MC back then. It's a producer now, DJ, but it was an MC back then. He was like, Jah, come. One talent show, you know what I'm saying? And then gone to the talent show, like, got a good reception at the talent show, and then from then it's just been a knock-on effect. We started doing grime, started getting a name on the grime scene in the Midlands. You know what I'm saying? And then it's just been a snowball effect. But obviously, me, I'm an experimental artist. So hip hop, I love hip hop all day. You know what I mean? Grime, grew up on grime all day. You know what I'm saying? They're my loves, grime and hip hop. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I've recently delved into like the poetry world, spoken word world, where it's all hip hop to me. It's all
It's all lyricism.
It's all wordplay and just without a beat. You know what I'm saying? And so I've delved into that, and I've made some good connections with that. So what I try and do, I try and make a fusion out of all of them. So you know what I'm saying? I try and fuse them all. So hip hop, grime, and spoken word. Even a bit of reggae sometimes, you know what I mean? Because I'm heavily influenced on the bashment, on the dancehall scene. So
sure,
I just use my influences to create and express myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm saying?
I think one thing that you mentioned, which is 100% poignant in all of your tracks, whether they're on the grime side of things, whether they're on the hip hop side of things, is what you mentioned initially, which is the storytelling element. And I think that massively comes across regardless of the genre, which is massively important. So it's about just using that ability that you've clearly got and then almost diversifying it into different avenues, which 100% is what you're doing at the moment. And one artist that I kind of pair you up with simply on the storytelling side of things, which again, I think sits in the category of someone who's incredibly talented, but maybe not regarded as high as they could be, is Mike Righteous.
Yes.
I think that storytelling element that you've both got, and it's about utilizing and channeling that pain that you've clearly experienced to create a spectacle.
Yeah, shout out to Mike Righteous as well, man. Mike Righteous, proper artist, you know what I mean? Proper, for me, like, he's like you said, he's an artist that, you know, he paints a picture vividly and it makes you feel like you're there, you know what I'm saying? And that's, like you said, that's an art in itself. That's an art in itself. And yeah, like you said, man, it's just about, because you know what it is? Everybody, we're all human, you know what I'm saying? And everybody goes through, but life is life, you know what I'm saying? So everyone can relate to similar stories, you know what I'm saying? So I might talk about, I don't know, how I got how I had anxieties going for a job interview, and I can make a story out of that. But there's so many others that can make a story that can relate to that story, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And it's just about that for me, man. It's about relatability. It's about resonating with true events, what will happen in everyday life, and being clever and witty about how you put it, you know what I'm saying? And that's it. That's hip hop right there, you know what I'm saying? That's music. That's art.
Yeah, completely agree. And I guess with that in mind and the fact about relatability kind of takes me on to my next point. I wanted to start off by talking about a few of your new releases, and obviously we focused our article on Bully. So I thought that'd be a great place to start. So I just kind of wanted to initially ask you, let's talk about and let's understand from your perspective, what was the influence behind making that track? I know it's quite vivid in the video itself. It's about your nephew, and that comes across. But I guess so just the background story.
Yeah, so basically it's real life, you know what I'm saying? One of the youngers, because in Nottingham, I'm a very, what's the word without trying to sound big-headed? Like, I'm kind of, people come to me, innit? People come to me like,
people look up to you, yeah.
Yeah, people kind of like, you know, like will reach out to me and say, and try and get guidance and advice and that, you know what I mean? Just out in a life, not music, just life, you know what I'm saying? One of the youngers come to me one day and said, Jah, I'm going through some trouble, man. I can't focus at school. I'm trying to get on with my thing and try and do the good way, you know what I'm saying? But people are trying to draw me out, you know what I'm saying? People are drawing me out. And then obviously he got into an altercation at school. Literally, as the song says, what it says on the tin is literally how it went. You know what I mean? Some dudes who were misguided getting onto him because he's not street or whatever, what we class as street. Is just a normal kid who wants to learn education, and he's not a cool kid, basically, you know what I'm saying? They're giving him slack, but what they didn't know, that this guy is connected to a lot of heavy roadside people, street strikes, you know what I'm saying? But he's not that. So obviously he's reached out like they've kind of duffed him up, took his phone, took a little bit of money from like a tenner or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? And like kind of like was not getting onto him, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, but the thing is, I know the kids that were doing that as well, you know what I'm saying? But they didn't know that I know this kid because he don't seem to be that type of kid, you know what I'm saying? So obviously I've gone there and I just gave him a little firm talking to, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, don't get it twisted, fam. Don't ever get it twisted out here, cause this kid here is, you get me? It's family, fam. That's family, fam. Like, you get me? You kids as well are family, but right now I don't look. You're getting gassed. You know what I'm saying? You're thinking the wrong thing. Like, it's not that. Right now you're not supposed to all be one. You know what I'm saying? All you lot are moving and getting creative and you know and doing something good. But you're that you're bullying the shoot and you wanna take his things off him. Nah, fam. It's from a good family. It's from a good family, fam. It's from good stock. Don't when you see this cat, when you see this youth, you know what I'm saying? Like, hail him up or just keep it moving. Don't trouble him. You know what I mean? And after that, you know what? After that, like the youth now it's crazy because the youth now is semi like a cool kid now.
Yeah, I bet.
Off the back of the video, you know what I'm saying? But it just goes to show, like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't really know who's who and we don't really know what's what. But kids nowadays just want to jump on a hype, not knowing the full 100 about a situation. But they don't think before they act. You know what I'm saying? And that that was kind of the message. Like, yo, think before you act, man. And you get me. And I know there's like a lot of for me, I didn't think the tune was gonna be so received well. I didn't think it was gonna be received well.
Really?
I just thought it was gonna be I just thought it was gonna be a tune we put out there. But you know what it is? It just goes to show that a lot of people are going through the same type of stuff. You know how many DMs I get on a regular? I get a lot of DMs like, yo, Jah, thank you, man, like for your music. It helps me get through the day. Like I'm trying to get on this big man thing. I'm trying to get on this big man thing and take responsibility. You know what I mean? And it just goes to show like we're all going through the same struggles, fam.
It goes back to that relatability piece.
Trust me, you know what I'm saying? And that was the theme of the song, man. That was the theme of the song, really. And then and it's weird because it was from all walks of background. So there was like young people who go to school like, Jah, love that tune, man. Thank you, man. It helped me a lot. Then it was old people in work like, yo, I'm going through some stuff at work, bro. Like, and this song here, man, it's amazing. You know what I mean? It was like road man. I've had street man, like proper thugs, like, yo, Jah, that's the one, bro. Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, it was a diverse, it was broad, man, in the feedback. You know what I'm saying? It was broad. It was a broad feedback, and I kind of looked at it like, you know what? I rate that still, man, because people are because it takes a lot for people to reach out to you and say, yo, you know what? A, B, C, and D, and I rated that, man. You know what I'm saying? I respect that.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree. It was relevant to all different types of people. I mean, speaking from a specifically personal standpoint with Discovery, when we published the article on Bully, we released it across all different verticals. So we released it on LinkedIn, we released it on Twitter, we released it on Instagram. And obviously the message that we're portraying on LinkedIn is very different to the message on Instagram. So on LinkedIn, it was a case of saying, actually, we understand, although bullying, you might think of it as it's a school children type of scenario. Actually, it's very relevant in the workplace. So this relates to all different types of people.
1,000%. You'll be surprised how many people are going through bullying in the workplace, in the household. You know what I'm saying? Schools, universities. It's not an age group. Bullying don't have an age group or a gender. Like, it's just, you know what I'm saying? It's real. It's real. So, yeah, man, I hear that.
I was interested to know, because you've talked a lot about someone that's obviously come to you because he knows you and he's got that advice off of you. What advice would you give to someone that's in that scenario but doesn't have a Jah Digga to go to?
Yeah, you know, I'd say to them, I'd say, you know what? Like I said, like, yo, like, don't fall victim. Don't fall victim. You know what I'm saying? Stand up for yourself. You know what I mean? I'm not saying go mad or do a mad thing, but just let them know, like, yo, stand firm in it. Don't crumble, man. That's what I say in the second verse. Like, stand firm and stand up, man. Let them know that, yo, listen, I'm not here for this. Yeah, but I'm not gonna have a voice for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Have a voice. You know what I'm saying? And if you can speak to someone, because a lot of people bottle things up. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
I always think communication is vital. If you can speak to someone, if you can put it if you can get it off your chest, if you get creative, if you go to the gym, if you I don't know, whatever you do, if you write, if you paint, just to not keep
Express
it in.
it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Express it, man, because the worst thing you could do is bottle it up and keep it in. That's painful. Painful, you know what I'm saying? So my advice for you, if you didn't have someone to speak to, there's other ways to get it out. You know what I'm saying? Get active, gym, go for a run. You know what I mean? Go for a walk if you like walking. You know what I'm saying? Go and write it down on a piece of paper. Draw if you like drawing. You know what I mean? Scream. Even if you go out, even if you go to the top of a hill and just shout your loudest. You know what I'm saying? To get it out. That's it.
Some form of release.
Some form of release. Because the worst thing you could do is bottle it in, and that's a hurtful process. I'm telling you.
I guess that form of bottling it in, if it were to be the case, kind of takes you on to your next release, which is Beef. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that, and I guess some of the repercussions of bottling things like that in could go to the next scenario, which is what happens in Beef. So I wanted to speak about that, and without going too deep into it, I initially wanted to understand, we talked about the response, which obviously was an incredible response on Bully, but what was the response like on Beef? And the reason I ask is it's it's a very, very political video. And what I've found from my experience, and I noted down a few examples. So if we look at Krypton Conan's Dunya video, if we look at Dave's Question Time video, if we look again at Krypton Conan, and on their band Drill video, for sake of example, these are all videos which are incredibly political, and sometimes they get the biggest backlash. So just because of how real it is and because of how hard hitting it is. So I wanted to understand what the thoughts have been.
Yeah, you know what it is. Like I said, like I for me, it's like, you know, everybody get the views where you're coming from, because they're not coming from that place. You know what I mean? They're not coming from the streets where beef is real to some people. Beef is life to some people. You get what I'm saying? So people who have got negative views on that, cool, you can have your opinion, but you need to understand that it's real for some people. So now the beef tune, that was just kind of like, again, trying to shed light on the fact that, yo, beef is long. You know how much kids I know, you know how much, not even kids, I hate the saying kids, you know how much people I know that are stuck in the beef mindset now, still now. Like we was doing this 15 years ago. People are still doing it now, like, and you was doing it 15 years ago. So it shows you it's a mindset, you know what I'm saying? It's a mindset. And what I was trying to do is trying to like just plant the seed, you know what I'm saying? Plant the seed and in someone's mind, like, you know what? This beef's kind of long, you know, like man's mums and dads are, you know what I mean, are grieving, and the effect. I'm just trying to raise the awareness on the effect it has, not just the perpetrator, not just the victim, the family, the families, the mums,
backlash, essentially,
yeah, you know what I mean. The communities. It's like there's been deaths. Yo, there's been so many deaths in my ends, in my neighborhood, people that I know personally. Fam, I've been to so many funerals, fam. I don't even cry no more. Like I'm numb to it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Family members, you know what I mean? Friends. It's crazy, fam. Like, you know what I mean? You know how much men are in the prison system because of beef, like, because of violence and gang culture. Like, it's crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just raising that awareness and effect, man. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like you said, back to the question, the feedback from my behalf has been like, yo, like, it's super real. It's super real. It's super. What's the word? It's honest. It's honest. You know what I'm saying? And it's one of them bits, isn't it? Like it's what it is. Like most of my music, it is what you see on the tin. It is exactly what it is. It says on the tin. You know what I'm saying? And it's about raising awareness, man. Like we're better with mindsets, man. I'm trying to plant seeds. I'm trying to plant seeds, man. You know what I mean?
With that in mind, how important do you think it is that people like you with a voice plant those seeds, as opposed to planting the wrong seeds and actually promoting that type of culture? So how important do you think it is that you take your route rather than a different route?
Well, it's everyone's an individual. You know what I mean? Everybody's got their own truths. You know what I mean? So everybody knows for themselves what's good for them. I just know for me that because I'm very good with words. Not to blow my own trumpet, I'm very good with words. So I could easily do the negative narrative and probably get more views.
Yeah, agreed.
You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Probably be a bigger artist as I am today now. But you see, my truths and how I feel about pushing out a mad narrative to the positive narrative, I couldn't do it to myself. Like I couldn't do it to myself. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sticking to my truths. I'm sticking to my beliefs. I'm sticking to my knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And that's for me. I'm a carer. I'm a Libra, innit? I'm a Libra.
Yeah.
I care, innit? I care about people. I care. I couldn't lead someone astray. I couldn't lead someone's kid astray and make him go and do a madness because of the back of my influence. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not with that, fam. I'm not with that. So I don't know about other artists. That's their truths and that's their beliefs. But for my thing, I've got to do what I got to do. You know what I'm saying? And if that means get less views and be less liked out here, cool. I don't care about that. But at least I know I can influence people out here to help better their life and be the best version they can be of themselves, I'm good with that. If I can get 10 people doing that rather than the 100 or 500, I'm good with the 10. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't about likes and views for me. It's about mindset. It's about mindset, bro.
Yeah, it's about how you value your rewards, really. And I was looking at, pretty poignant, I was looking at your Instagram story from last night, and I think it was just, let's say, 14 hours ago that you got a message from someone that I think was in possession of a knife, and they went to prison for, I think it was 28 days. And then off the back of that, they've got into your music, and they stressed to you that they're living a happy, healthy and content life with no crime. So I guess really it depends if you prefer to have 1 million views but not have that influence, or have 200,000 views and have that influence. It's how you value your rewards.
Well, there we go. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, cool, 1 million views is an amazing accolade to have. Don't get me wrong. 1 million views is a great achievement. But so is that message. That message is priceless. It's priceless. You know what I'm saying? So, and I get so many of them messages. Within the week. And you know what? Before I didn't like to post them because I didn't want to put anyone on blast. You know what I'm saying? For their story. But I thought to myself, let me post it because it might someone else might see that who's going through that and see the transition that this individual's made and be like, you know what? I'm getting on the same thing. So I'm going to start posting them. You know what I'm saying? Not put their names out there or anything, but it's just a message. You know what I'm saying? Because it can be a knock-on effect. Like, yo, because you know when you see something and it's like, yo, I want to get on that, man, and it's inspiring, you know what I mean? And then a message like that can motivate people. So, you know what I mean? Like I said, it's all down to individuals, all individually based. You know what I mean? But it would be nice to have the message, but have the views as well to go with it. If 1 million views could get the message, and that's beautiful. You know what? You know who's doing that? And I got to big him up. Dave. Shout out to Dave, man.
Yeah.
Because Dave's doing it at a level. Dave's doing it at such level, yeah. But it's still dropping gems and it's still talking real, you know what I mean? I got to shout out to Dave, man. Yeah,
100%. I mean, I think I mentioned question time a little bit earlier on, but really you could pick any of 10, 15, 20 different songs where he's talking on. And
the Psychodrama album, crazy. Psychodrama is a crazy album. Like, that's one of my albums still, like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, and he's doing it at the elite standard, you know what I'm saying? So big up to him, man, because he's taking responsibility to drop gems as an artist within himself. Like, he's taking responsibility, man, and I'm always there for that, man. I'm always there for that.
It's also taken time, though. I mean, I'm just thinking about it now and thinking out loud in many ways. And if you look back, don't quote me on this, but let's say 4 years ago, and you look at Dave's Black Box and the message that he's portraying in that black box, which I think is shortly after his brother went to prison, and then the message that he's portraying in Psychodrama, they are worlds apart. In the black box, he's talking about finding these people that have put his brother in prison and what he's going to do to them. And then Psychodrama, he's clearly had that transition. So obviously that comes with life experiences. And I think, again, in the black box, don't quote me on it, but I think he's 17, 18 at the time. So
it's growth. It's just growth. Life, we grow. And, you know, we all get the window of opportunity to grow, you know what I'm saying? And take the lessons in growing and apply the lessons, apply the blessings. And that's all he's done. He was 16, 17, probably in the black box. And you know what? It was angry. His brother's been taken by the system. You know what I mean? He was an angry young man. But you know what? He's pulled up his socks. You know what I mean? That was a lesson for him. And he's grew with it, man. And he's applying the blessings now, which you can see visually. We can see it from. So shout out to Dave, man. He's killing it from. Like, that's for me, that's a proper artist, bro. That's a proper artist. I'd love to work with him, fam. That's one of the artists I'd love to get in the booth with, because I know, like, we could make something mad special, fam. You know what I'm saying? That could change a lot of lives. You know what I'm saying, man? So it's just like things like that, you know. Kano's another one. Kano's another. There's so many I could mention. Kano's another one. Kano's a man who's always gave gems, but he's got a balance as well where he can give you that grit and give you that madness. There's gems in there. There's gems in there, you know what I mean? Life gems. And that's, for me, that's a quality, that's an art in itself. If you can do the balance, if you can do the grit, but you can do the gems as well, it's beautiful, mate. It's an art in itself.
Yeah, 100%. One that sticks out for me personally is Young Kings by Krypton Conan. I think you get a massive balance in that. You've got songs like My Story, and then you've got songs like Dancing on the Table, things like that. So there's a massive span of different songs. So yeah, I think that's really important. I mean, while we're on the topic of artists, it might be worthwhile so dive into your top 5. So none of them are UK, but the top 5 you provided me with, top 5 artists, hip hop artists.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But this I've got 2 top 5s.
Okay.
I got a top 5. I got a top 5 USA and I got a top 5 UK.
Okay, let's go.
Obviously, Pac for me is, Pac's the GOAT, fam. Pac had the message. He, like we've just been talking about, he had the message, deepness, consciousness, but he had the grit at the same time. You know what I'm saying? It could make you feel like, yeah, man, you know what I mean? Like you want to ride out on some revolutionary thing, you know what I'm saying? That was Pac. You get me? Secondly, Nas, the greatest storyteller of all time. You know what I mean? He could make you feel like you're right with him, you know what I mean? In Queensbridge, New York, you know what I'm saying? DMX, pain. If you're talking pain and rawness, you know what I'm saying? DMX is the one, fam. Like, you know what I mean? DMX could make you cry. You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z, fam, flows. We're talking wittiness. We're talking delivery. From second to none, fam. Second to none. And 5th is a wild card, but it's my one. Is Prodigy. Prodigy, yeah, for me was so heavy, yeah, because with Prodigy, it was unorthodox. His flow and style was so unorthodox. Like, he would drop out the beat, would drop off, and it was raw. He made me feel like I was from Queensbridge, fam. Like when he was in his prime. So yeah, Prodigy, that's my top 5 USA. Top 5 UK now. Kano's crazy, mate. Gets one of the best lyricists in the world. Dizzy Rascal, for the fact that he changed the whole game back in the day. I grew with that era, and he changed the whole game. Kano gets Dizzy. Gotta say Skepta, you know. Gotta say Skepta, man. Skepta is too certified with it, man. It's too certified with it, man. And I got one more from the.
This is big.
Very big. Oh, one more. Top 5 to make the final 5. Skepta gets Kano. Oh man. Fucking hell, it's hard, you know. It's hard. All right, let's keep this on hold until we finish, yeah. And I'll have the last one till we finish.
Sounds good. Well, okay. Well, what we'll do then, we'll run into the Discovery Challenge. So for each interview that we've done, we've incorporated 2 questions on each artist that we've been provided. So 10 questions in total. And it's basically a little challenge so you can get the most right.
Okay, let's go for it.
Let's go. Right, okay. So Tupac's Thug Life concept is an acronym for what? You've got 3 different options. It's pretty hard. The honesty you give, love is forever eternal. The house your God lives in forever evolves. And finally, the hate you gave little infants fucks everybody.
I'm going to go with number 2. Pac's very conscious. I'm going to go with number 2.
Is actually the 3rd option. So the hate you give little infants fucks everybody.
Fucking hell, I was on his rebel shit, wasn't it?
Madness. Okay, so there's actually a subtle clue on my person for this one. So what is Nas's clothing brand called?
Nas's clothing brand. What, history? What's that say, history?
Mental, yeah. How'd you get that? Yeah, no, good job. Spot on.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, just check it out. It's good stuff.
I'm gonna definitely check it out, man.
Okay, so what was the cause of Prodigy's death?
Well, it's a conspiracy, but was it sickle cell? He had sickle cell, didn't he?
Correct, yeah. And then there's
sickle cell, what they're saying. But you know, let's not go into that though. But yeah, sick of so.
Yeah, spot on. And the other mention is he choked on an egg, hypothetically.
Yeah.
Yeah, but 100% spot on. So that's 2 out of 3. It's good going. When was DMX born?
DMX. When was you born, X?
I'll give you a year either way.
Okay. X was born 76.
70 on the dot.
Ooh.
2 out of 4. 2 out of 4. Pressure's on. Okay, so Jay-Z owns which streaming platform?
Tidal. Light work. Tidal.
There we go. Easy money. Who was in the car with Tupac the night he died?
Suge Knight.
Smashing it. On a roll. Okay, so this is interesting. I wonder if you get this. So another of Nas's investments is into a hair clipper company. What is the company called? And I can give you a clue if you want it.
Give me a clue.
So it's in the line in one of his songs, and the line is signature fade with the blade.
I don't know. I know he's involved with Mass Appeal, but I'm just gonna throw Mass Appeal. I don't know.
Nah, so it's bevel blade. Signature fade with the bevel blade.
See, I didn't know that. See, this is why Nas is a goat, because he's into. Man say he's not a businessman, but you know what? You know how many businesses he's got. He's incredible, man. He's inspiring, man.
Yeah, he's involved heavily with. It's either Hennessy or Cavassier, isn't it? I always
Hennessy,
forget.
Yeah, Hennessy.
Okay, so last 3. How old was Prodigy when he died? Again, I'll give you a year either way.
Prodigy, I'm going to say 46.
You like the Sixers, don't you?
I was going to say 47, but...
42.
Fucking hell.
Okay, so what does DMX stand for?
Dark Man X.
Spot on. Good job. And last one, another investment, another businessman. What is the name of Jay-Z's champagne?
Oh, I know this. Of course I know this. Is it Spades? Ace of Spades?
Yeah, spot on.
Ace of Spades, yeah, Ace of Spades. How did I do?
Got 6 out of 10.
Above average, I'm all right with that. Above average, man, I'm all right with that.
It's actually tied with seasonings as well.
See? That's what I'm saying, man. I'm all right with that, man. I'm good with that.
You're joint at the top. So, I mean, that's really all from me. And I guess what I would say is like I said at the beginning of the interview, thanks ever so much for joining. Been an absolute pleasure to speak to you, and thank you for being so open as well with us. Yes. It helps us have a real life experience and standpoint of where you are.
Thank you. And thank you for having me, man. Shout out to Discovery Rap. It's beautiful to, like I said at the beginning, it's beautiful for creatives to link up, and so we can have chats like this and people can get to know the artists a bit more, you know what I mean? And get to know about you guys a bit more. And we need more of this, man. So shout out to Discovery Rap. We go again, man, sometime, and if we can do this when Corona's not, when it's lifted, we can meet up in the flesh and we can do this in the flesh and do it again, you know what I'm saying? Definitely, man.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. We've got massive plans personally. So, yeah, absolutely. Anything that we can do to help grow, that'd be amazing. 100.
And yo, I'm going to go with gigs.
Gigs? Oh, really?
I'm going to go with gigs. I like, I'm going to go with gigs because gigs is so unique. It's so unique. Some might say it's simple, but the way it incorporates his humor and the street life, I think it's genius. So yeah, I'm gonna go with gigs, man.
These are all old school names. So where do people like your Daves, Stormzy, for sake of example? I'm going to throw one out there, which is I'm a massive fan of them, and I don't think a lot of people would regard them as high as I do. But Ocean Wisdom, for me, is
yeah, Ocean Wisdom, sick. I seen the thing what he done with Gets. I'm like, yo, that's the first time I heard of him now.
Oh, really?
Thing with Gets. Yeah, I was like, yo, this kid, sick, fire, definitely fire. But then, like I said, that's just my personal top 5. But there's so many artists across the UK, up and down the UK, that are fire. And there's more. I've been on this lockdown. The more I've seen, like the more I've discovered. You know what I mean? Like people have probably discovered me. Like I'm discovering artists like, yo, you're so fire, and you're from blood clot, I don't know, Sunderland, or you're from Bristol or somewhere like that. You know, but I'm like, yo, you're cold. So I'm knocking heads with a few artists. You know what I mean? And getting the collabs on, man, because I think if you're sick, you're sick. You know what I mean? I don't do the hierarchy thing. I just go off quality. You know what I'm saying, fam? So shout out to all the UK creatives and shout out to all the UK artists. Keep smashing it. Keep doing your thing. And we're going to get it, man. Let's get it.
Well, yeah, brilliant to speak, mate.
All right. Blessings, yeah. Nice one, bro. Have a good day.
Take care, mate. You too.